Hi guys, who's at the Marriage Warrior? Thank you for joining the channel. And today we're going to talk about a heavy content topic, which is, do I stay or do I go? If you know that you're being abused, and abuse is also neglect. It's not just physical abuse or verbal abuse or even emotional abuse. It's neglect. Because if you're neglecting another person, they can't get their needs met. And you're in relationship for your needs to be met. Well, part of the reason communication is such a big deal is because we have to communicate our needs. We have to communicate our expectations. If I don't know that you feel satisfaction through, say, one of the love languages, because I don't know you that well, then how am I going to be able to meet that need? You know, but if I love you and you like gifts or being given roses or whatever, I'll remember those things. I'll be like, okay, that's how I connect with that person. That's how they feel loved by me. Now, when we're dealing with love languages, that's very different than dealing with trauma reactions, like shut down, over emotional reactions, non-communicative things, criticism, feeling internalized when someone's just trying to talk to you about something. That's very different than a love language. No love language gift is going to fix that. That is childhood trauma. And so that comes into the cycle, the toxic cycle between a couple of action reaction. So how they act, you react, etc. And if they're traumatized and not dealt with their trauma and don't know how they're controlling the atmosphere and the conversations by the shutdown or by the aggression, then they're not going to know they're destroying their relationship. So you have to be able, when you're trying to decide, can I stay? Do I need to stay? Do I go? Then you have to be able to count the cost. What is it costing you to stay in a situation where you cannot talk about your needs or express anything about your day or anything that you need a partner with, and you feel shut down? And they're shutting you down. We talked about this last time. They're shutting you down because the childhood trauma tells them they're being criticized, like criticized from their childhood. And so they isolate like they did in their childhood, and they push back with anger because as a child, maybe they couldn't push back with anger, and now they have that power, so they push back with anger, and you're stuck. You're without a partner who can communicate well with you. You feel like your needs are being repressed and you can't have a voice to talk about them. So what do? A lot of people saying, you know, I'm married to a narcissist, and you know, I've got my opinions about that because not everybody who has characteristics of a narcissist are a narcissist, because I think some of the things that God gave us to protect self and to stand up for self and to think highly of ourselves is not necessarily narcissistic as a disorder. So I want y'all to be careful with that. But narcissistic characteristics and traits are really about protecting self instead of thinking of others and thinking how my behaviors are impacting another person. And so when you're at the crossroads of trying to figure out, should I stay or should I go? You really have to determine, what can you live with? Can you radically accept what is going on? If you've tried to change it and it won't change, can you radically accept this person is going to blow up? This person is going to withdraw. But then for 2 days, they're good. Can you radically accept that to where you have no expectations of anything changing? Can you radically accept that I may not get my needs met ever in this marriage? I may never be loved like I need to love. And I have to get used to repressing my emotions. So if I have to repress them, then I've got to do some self-care, and maybe I get a therapist on my own, which by the way is a bad thing, because if you get a therapist on your own about a relationship, the therapist is only hearing one side of the story. That's always divisive. So can you radically accept? And then you got to count the cost of, if I don't radically accept, the cost of me, can I radically accept leaving and what it's going to cost me in leaving? Most of us know what that's going to cost. We don't know what it's costing when we radically accept. So what we try to do is constantly change. And sometimes we can't change another person. We can only change us. If you like this content, want more, subscribe to the channel.